Tonight, a years-long News 3 investigation into billions of public dollars held by the state of Virginia, now leading lawmakers to take action. We break down the bills heard at the state capitol today to get your money returned.
Oh yeah, I have a kidney.
We really didn't think it would happen this soon.
After searching across the country for a match, a 5-year-old local boy finally has a kidney. Tonight, we're following through with him and his family to hear how this has changed their lives. And we're coming to an end of an icy week, and some sunshine could be peeking through just in time for your weekend plans. Our first winning storm team lets us know when we can expect our next warm-up. And good evening. Welcome to this News 3 Digital News Break. I'm Kurt Williams. Thanks for joining us. A lot of stories that we want to catch you up on tonight. But first, we continue to follow through on how unclaimed property is handled in Virginia. A News 3 investigation prompted action by lawmakers to try to change Virginia law when it comes to your money that is being held by the state treasurer. Investigative reporter Margaret Kavanaugh spent today at the state capitol as two bills dealing with this were heard on the House floor.
Delegate Phil Hernandez calls it the Cash Now Act. There are two bills that, if passed, could make it much easier for people in the public to get money that they're owed from the government. And this all sparked because of an investigation done by WTKR. Delegate Phil Hernandez spoke on the House floor about his proposed House Bill 1606. This would dramatically change how unclaimed property is handled in the state. Citizens who are owed money less than $5,000 would not have to file a claim with the state. The money would be sent to them automatically. Our investigation revealed how other states are already doing this successfully.
It's good to see bipartisan support, and if this does become law, then Virginians are going to stand to get a lot more of the money that already belongs to them.
Delegate Cliff Hayes proposed House Bill 1640. This would require the Treasurer's Office to work with the tax commissioner to locate people to get them their checks. Our investigation exposed how other states are already sharing information between agencies.
This is the people's money and not some money that the state has and owns and belongs to the state, which it doesn't.
We have been closely following this issue and tried to speak to the state treasurer about possible changes to the law last week, but he refused to speak to us on camera. A state official would only say that they're excited about the possible changes. We showed how the state has generated $24 million in interest within the last 10 years. We also exposed how the treasurer actually has $3.6 billion, not the $2 billion that they had reported to us for years. The treasurer told me that there is no way they could find the majority of the people that are owed their part of the $3.6 billion.
Why are we sitting on $3 billion, with a B, billion dollars of the people's money?
Delegate Hernandez made an amendment to one of the bills saying that it would go into effect as soon as the governor signed it, as opposed to it waiting until July. The House is expected to vote on these two bills coming up on Monday. In Richmond, Margaret Kavanaugh, News 3.
The Virginia Department of Treasury could have money that's yours, and you might not know it. Companies are legally required to turn over unclaimed property to the Department of Treasury when they can't find the rightful owner. To see if the Department of Treasury owes you money, you can find a link on our website at WTKR.com and just search unclaimed property. Well, we have new details tonight about a case involving a Portsmouth teacher's alleged sexual assault of two former students. We first brought you this story yesterday on News 3. We do want to warn you about the sensitive nature of some of the new details that we have uncovered. As we've reported, Portsmouth police arrested this man, 34-year-old Jarvis Green, who is a teacher at Churchland High School. A member of the News 3 team went to the courthouse today and found documents detailing the allegations from the two teen victims. The documents allege that Green had sex with one of the students in a classroom and had sexual contact with another student in a car on campus. Records also allege that this happened in 2015, but the investigation got underway last year after a social post implicated Green. Green is facing charges of indecent liberties with a child in a supervisory role, sodomy, and contributing to the delinquency of a minor. Police are asking anyone who knows more about these allegations to come forward. Portsmouth Public Schools says that Green is on administrative leave. He is out of jail on bond tonight. His next court appearance is set for next week. In Virginia Beach, state police say a pursuit ended with a car going through a building. It happened earlier this morning when police say a state trooper attempted to pull over a red Acura for speeding on 464. Police say the driver, 21-year-old Justin Edwards, refused to pull over and led them on a pursuit on the interstate. Police say he got off on Freeman Avenue and came to a dead end where he lost control due to ice on the roadway. Police go on to say his vehicle crashed through this building that was located off the roadway. He suffered minor injuries. All right, time for our first check on the forecast. High temperatures today finally climbed well above freezing, and our first warning storm team says it doesn't end there. Forecaster Dara Getter joining us now. And Dara, you're tracking even milder conditions this weekend.
Right, that's good news, Kurt, especially if you're sick of the colder conditions like me. Now, most of us are mainly dry. We do have a little bit of rain moving through the Chesapeake Bay right now, nicking Cape Charles with a little bit of ice mixed in, but the rest of us will stay dry, and we stay dry for your weekend, so that's also good news. Highest rain chances will be the middle of next week, only about a 20% chance for a couple of spotty showers. So next couple of days, we're getting even warmer. Saturday and Sunday, we're in the 40s and 50s. Next week, middle 50s, close to 60 degrees. So transitioning from over 20 degrees below normal that we've seen this past week to a few degrees above normal by the middle of next week. This evening, we're fairly mild. Clouds are going to start clearing out. We're in the upper 30s, so any snow that has melted tonight as we drop below freezing tomorrow will refreeze. And next couple of days, freezing nights will be behind us, so most of that snow should dissipate as we head into next week. We're pushing 60 degrees, and then we're cooler again heading into your upcoming weekend.
And a reminder for you this evening that when we're not on the air, you can get updates from the First Warning Storm Team anytime on the News 3 app. You can get up-to-the-minute conditions and even check out interactive radar based on where you live. It is free in your app store. Well, Portsmouth, you could say, rolled the dice and put in a casino exactly 2 years ago yesterday, and since then they say the gamble's paid off. The casino says it has welcomed in more than 4 million customers during its time in operation, and Virginia Lottery data shows that the casino raked in more than $309 million this past year, which outpaced the roughly $250 million it made in 2023. We asked Portsmouth's Mayor Shannon Glover about the impact, especially as he says the casino gives back to the city through philanthropy and generates roughly $20 million in tax revenue a year.
So a big part of those dollars, in fact, we were able to give to our school system this past budget cycle $15 million. And the other $5 million that was left over went to tax reduction efforts.
The mayor says that the city was able to give a tax credit on the property tax rate and reduce it from $1.30 to $1.23. And he said that they were able to freeze other rates. However, the casino's last 2 years in operation have had some bumps along the way. Between May of 2023 and July of 2024, Rivers Casino paid more than $800,000 in fines to the state's general fund to settle compliance and regulatory violations, including underage visitors and gaming violations. To Hampton now, where firefighters say multiple people were forced out of their homes after a fire started in an apartment building. It happened at the Carson Square Apartments you see right here along Briarfield Road. Crews tell us that they found black smoke coming from a second-floor apartment. 4 of the 8 nearby units were damaged, forcing out 13 people. Now, fortunately, none of them were hurt. Investigators are still looking into what caused this fire. Tonight, we're following through on a story that we first told you about back in the summer about a 5-year-old boy here in Hampton Roads in need of a kidney. His name is Legend Crouch. In July, his grandfather was advocating for people to get tested to see if they could be a match. Good news tonight, Legend found a match and has recovered from his kidney surgery.
Look, you see me? That's me in the game.
Spend any time with 5-year-old Legend Crouch and you'll see he's just like any other little boy, full of energy.
Watch this.
But now he's really enjoying life after receiving a much-needed kidney transplant back in October.
Yep, love it.
We first told you about Legend and his need back in July, when a nonprofit driving around the country to raise awareness for kidney donations stopped by CHKD. Back then, his grandfather, Waylon, was praying someone would be a match.
For him to get it as quickly as he did is truly a blessing for us as a family.
About 3 months later, someone would answer those prayers through an organ donor.
Kidney that they got was actually damaged, so they couldn't use it. So that Tuesday morning, another donor had passed, and that kidney came, and it was a perfect match.
Just 8 days later, Legend was able to head home with his family, and his doctor tells me he should be able to grow up as a healthy adult with his whole life ahead of him.
He is off of dialysis. He's thriving, doing well, boatloads of energy. Although he was pretty energetic beforehand, but even more so now that he is free from dialysis.
Legend was just one of about 1,200 kids on the National Donor Need List. Here in the Tidewater area, CHKD tells me there are 5 kids still in need of a donor. Dr. Amber Carrier, who works for Centera and performs transplant surgeries for CHKD, says just checking to see if you are a match is the best gift anyone could ever give.
I'm a professional at second chances, and it's amazing to be able to give a second chance to anyone, especially to a child.
As for Legend and his family, while they may never know who their donor was, they just want to say thank you.
Just considering doing this for someone else and a stranger at that, again, it's blessed us, and I hope it's blessed you knowing that your loved one was able to save someone else's life.
In Norfolk, I'm John Hood, News 3.
Turning now to Norfolk's Ocean View neighborhood, where News 3's Beverly Kidd recently spoke with a tech salesman who ditched his job and opened a food truck. And his sourdough pizza became so popular that he's now opened his own business. Norfolk native Nathan Ingram tells us that he always dreamed of owning a business one day, so he bought a food truck, and Sour Street Pizza was born, parking at Cova Brewery every Thursday. He soon realized that he needed a bigger kitchen and more staff, so he opened his own pizza place on Ocean View Avenue in East Beach, and his longtime customers followed. He tells us it's not just about pizza, but it's about being part of the neighborhood that he grew up in. And so we're now all thinking about some sourdough pizza right about now. Man.
We are.
Man, what a great story.
That's awesome.
All right, we have some good weekend weather vibes headed our way.
Great weekend weather vibes, Kurt. Mostly sunny skies tomorrow, and will be a lot more mild temperatures back in the low and middle 40s. And then we're back in the 50s for the end of your weekend, and that carries over into next week with middle 50s returning by Wednesday. Only about a 20% chance for a couple of hit or miss spotty showers, but you'll also notice our nights also above freezing, and we do see reality kick back in. We're back in the upper 30s and low 40s by the end of next week.
Hey, but we'll take a brief warm up.
We will.
I mean, I
very
think
brief, but better than nothing.
I think we are due. I think a lot of folks are wanting to thaw out.
Exactly, and that's exactly what it is, because next couple of nights, while we're warmer in the day and then freezing at night, the snow will finally begin to fully thaw out by the middle of next week.
Because it's still hanging out in some neighborhoods.
It is.
All right, well, quickly, your pick for this weekend, Saturday or Sunday?
Saturday,
Okay.
more sun.
All right, thank you, dear.
Thanks.
Hey, a quick reminder that you can catch our morning news, our 7 p.m. and our 10 p.m. news on Cox Channel 44. Be sure to head on over there for our next newscast. That is News 3 at 7 on WGNT. Thank you for joining us.